Aloha! We're here in Honolulu, Hawaii for the Plant Biology 17 Annual Conference. I'm your host, Rishi Masalia, and we're Between the Palms. Welcome to another episode of Between the Palms. I'm joined here with John Boyer. So John, can you tell us a little bit about ASPB and your role in ASPB over the years?
Yeah, I've been heavily involved, was president of the society in '82, and have been pleased and honored to receive some awards from the society, and those have given me the courage to continue.
So we were talking and you said that you've been involved in ASPB since 1963, correct?
Correct.
So how has ASPB or plant biology changed over those 50-some years?
It has changed greatly, and we're able to do molecular genetics now that we couldn't do then. The opportunities to change plant performance using molecular genetics has been wonderful. So I think that ASPB has changed greatly. It was originally, of course, American Society of Plant Physiologists, and
So we've
did
broadened.
That's
then,
right.
yeah.
We've done a lot of physiological experiments, but as molecular genetics became possible, the society has changed greatly. It's now much more international than it was, and
Is that also a byproduct of travel? It's just easier to travel across countries and across the globe now as well?
I think so, Rishi. It's a lot easier to come to meetings from a great distance.
Absolutely. So your research is actually focused on drought and water use efficiency, right?
That's right.
So how has some of the molecular advances over the years influenced your own research?
Well, we've, of course, had to use some of the molecular genetics techniques to alter genes and look at gene expression in response to dehydration. And basically, water limitation changes the activity of hundreds of enzymes and their corresponding genes as well.
Yeah, that's something I've experienced in my own work as well. So you've been involved in plant biology for quite a long time. One of the questions I always like to ask is, how did you actually become involved in plant biology? What sparked your interest in plants?
Yes, that is a major question for me, because I was raised on a farm. My brother and I farmed the place for our parents, and our parents paid us a little bit, but insisted that we use that money to, that we save it and use that money to go to university.
Oh, really?
We went to university, and I was amazed at how little we knew about the plant, well, the biology of farming. It was a beef cattle farm, and we had great problems growing enough for the animals.
Okay.
Drought was a major factor. This is on the East Coast. The soils were not the best.
Right. They don't retain water that much.
That's right. And
So did this inspire you, did that phenomenon inspire you to study drought going forward?
That's right. And as soon as I entered the field, I began to wonder whether I'd made a mistake.
In what, why did you wonder that?
Because there was, first of all, the literature, what papers had been published in the area was very limited. And it was mostly based on the time since the last watering.
Oh, interesting.
That is to say
Okay.
that the experiments really couldn't be repeated unless you had exactly the same size
Conditions,
plants. Yes, environment was the same, the soil was the same. And I became very discouraged as a graduate student.
Yeah, I can imagine so.
Moreover, Rishi, we were trying to understand as graduate students such terms as diffusion pressure deficit, osmotic pressure, and many hours were spent trying to understand these.
The inner workings, the physiology of how plants use water, essentially.
That's right.
So I think we're gonna call it there. John, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Between the Palms, and we'll see you next time.